Greetings and welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese, and this is your weekday dose of real talk. This is where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. Welcome back. I just got a note. I got so many episodes recorded in my library that it's not going to record this episode unless I free up some space. So let me do that real quick. This is episode 36, y'all. So we going strong. We've been showing up and showing out, and it's like, hey, we need some more space. So I'm going to remove a couple of things. Delete that. And we will delete that. All right, because I want these episodes recorded, y'all. Thank you for your patience. So anyway, welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I'm your host, Osha Cerese. I am a certified life coach. I'm an event curator and a dream doula, helping you to birth your ideas into reality. So thank you all for tuning back in. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so now. This is where this show lives. I'm hot, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm hot. I'm sweating. Let's do this real quick. That's where this show lives. It's on my channel. The link is in the bio, youtube.com/@Osha Cerese. Make sure you not only subscribe, but also turn on your notifications because this is a pop-up show. You never know when I'm going to pop up. So let me fix myself, y'all. Let me fix myself. This mirror, this reflection is backwards, so I'm twisted up. Okay. All right. So we are on episode 36. Drink of the evening is lemonade, crisp lemonade. Cheers to a great show. Cheers to happiness, great health, safety, protection as we travel throughout our lives. Happiness, joy, bliss, ease, flow, success, wealth, and love. Cheers. Y'all know I gotta drink. I gotta get me some gulps in while it's cold. I don't like when my drinks warm up. But welcome back, welcome back. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to those of you who are on IG watching. Come on over to YouTube and subscribe. So today we are still celebrating Black History all year, but we are celebrating this month, Women's History Month. And so let's get right into our spotlight of the day. So our Women's History Spotlight of the day is Miss Toni Morrison. She is just a pillar in our history and in our culture. So she was born Chloe Ardelia Woldford on February 18th, 1931 in Lorain, Ohio. Morrison was the second of 4 children in a working-class African-American family. She earned a BA in English from Howard University in 1953 and a master's in American Literature from Cornell University in 1955. Morrison started as an editor at Random House, where she played a pivotal role in bringing Black literature to the forefront, editing works by prominent Black authors. Some of her literary achievements: The Bluest Eye, 1970, was her debut novel, and it explores themes of race, beauty, and identity. Song of Solomon in 1977, this novel brought her national acclaim, winning the National Book Critics Circle Award. And then one of the more popular ones that we are familiar with, at least my generation, Beloved. 1987 was perhaps her most renowned work. It won a Pulitzer Prize for fiction in 1988 and was later adapted into a film. She became the first African American woman to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature. And throughout her career, she faced and addressed the systemic marginalization of Black voices in literature, using her platform to challenge the status quo and inspire future generations. So we want to give honor to the beloved Toni Morrison. So I hope you all are enjoying your week. It is midweek. What's been going on with you? It's Wednesday. I hope it was great. It was a balanced day for me today. I'm working on some things. I got some stuff going on, but I was able to get some R&R in today too because your girl has been tired. I've been up all night, getting things done. And so I needed a little rest today, so I got a little bit of R&R in. If you haven't already checked out the series that I'm doing on my channel, I'm reviewing Ready to Love. So I've already dropped my reviews on episodes 1 through 4. This is season 10 of Ready to Love. If you haven't seen it, it is a reality dating show hosted by Tommy Miles, better known as Nephew Tommy. And I think it's one of my favorite reality shows because it's a little bit more relatable. It follows Black professionals in their 30s and 40s. Most of the dating shows kind of focus on the 20-something-year-olds and they're like looking for love, but I want something I can relate to. So he has been, I want to say Ready to Love's first season was like in Atlanta. They've been to Houston, they've been to DC. Where else have they been? Miami, I believe, but this season they're in Philly. So episode 5 came out last Friday. I have not yet had a chance to review it yet, but I will. And just stay tuned for that. But episodes 1 through 4, I'm reviewing and recapping some of the highlights of the episodes, but mainly focusing on the cast members and some of the red, green, and yellow flags that they are showcasing when it comes to dating and their experiences, how they're showing up in the dating process. I have some comments from Dr. Gary Whitaker on IG. It says, very interesting topic. I just came back from Thailand and Bali. Yeah, we're getting ready to talk about some things. I would love to hear your perspective on what you experienced while you were there. But let's talk about it. So the reason why I chose the topic tonight is because I stumbled across this post on, I think it was on the Shade Room, Jamal Woolard, the guy who played Biggie in Notorious. I think he'd be on Tubi these days as well. He basically was talking about his experience with dating outside of his race. That's what he called it. But he kind of really didn't describe dating outside of his race per se. He mostly described dating outside of his culture or his ethnicity or nationality. So let me see if I could play the clip. I do not own the rights to this clip because y'all know these sites be flagging you when you don't own the audio. But let's just hear it from his own words.
About my race. But I was dating outside of my race because they was doing things better than my race.
Define better.
Well, not better, because I know where she getting ready to go. Not better.
I know. You said they were doing things better. I want to know what better.
Not better. I'm going to change that.
I'm trying to save you for the people, for the culture.
Not better. For the culture.
There we go.
Right. Not better. I was dating Puerto Rican. I was dating Dominican. I was dating African. I was dating all type of other really size American Black. Right? They were doing way more of what we expect we want our woman to do more than our American. Our American got real comfortable with...
Give me some examples.
Oh, man. I mean, their mannerisms are different. Like, even my Indian one was from Syria, or one of them countries over there, right? I didn't have to really say much to do and be treated like a king. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times with our own American black, they expect so much of us and what we're supposed to do. Like things like if we go out and eat and we just have a nice dinner, we can go anywhere and eat and get a nice dinner. It had to be Roux Chris, or it had to be this, that, or it had to be this, that. Then I get somebody that's just as fine, a Cuban or Colombian. They don't care about nothing. They care about you and your household. Even though they still care about the money, but it's not about the money. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's a difference. Not better, but sometimes we get tired of hearing, working bags.
Do you think that's fair? Because I feel like there's a certain type of woman that does demand that. And to me, I think it depends on the bait you're using and where you're looking. If you're going to go get a model from Instagram that got the BBL, the snatching stomach, and has all the things that check off money hungry and surface, you're going to get that. If you're going to meet a girl and through different ways and ask different questions, you're going to find that out a lot earlier on. That was important to her.
I'm not doubting that, but I'm just talking about even if you look on just a regular dating app and just look at what a woman may state that she requires, you know, and I'm saying these things because it feels as if social media again is the barometer, okay, and it's the comparison, and when you're comparing yourself to all these other women, and of course, even with the BBLs, because I'm like, that's fine, but I mean...
What's BBL? I'm sorry.
Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, and it's no shade to women that have
No, I was wondering, I was waiting for it too. I'm like, excuse me?
And it's no shade to everyone that has it. I'm saying, if you're going by just surface things and that's who you're going afterwards, then guess what? She gonna run that pocket.
Okay, so I just wanted to play that clip so I wouldn't misrepresent what he said. If anybody that is listening so far has any comments or feedback or rebuttals to what was said in that clip, feel free to chime in the comments. So he basically was saying that his experience, Black American women are asking for a lot, like wanting him to take them to fancy steakhouses and provide them with luxury items. And, you know, the women from other cultures are treating him like a king without him having to do much to receive that treatment. And they are just as fine physically as the women that are requesting him going the extra mile, in his opinion, in America. So I have heard a lot from men who are either passport bros or who kind of have interest in that lifestyle or feel like they are going that route soon, that they feel like Black American women are not as traditional, are not doing certain things, nurturing, domestic, submissive, and the women in other cultures are naturally raised to be that way. And that's what I'm hearing. So for one, I want to say, I don't give a damn who you date, what you do, where you want to go to find love. I feel like go where you are loved, go where you are appreciated, go where you feel seen, go where you feel heard. Do you? My number one problem comes in at the comparison and the insults or the belittling. Like, if you like what you like outside of your race, culture, ethnicity, or nationality, why keep bringing up the women that you don't like or the women that you're not finding success in dating with? And I've gotten into actual arguments because of this, because that's just like a pet peeve of mine. I went to Brazil last year with one of my homeboys invited me down there, and I was around Black American men who are dating Brazilian women, are seeking Brazilian women, are courting Brazilian women. So I was able to see it firsthand, what's going on down there. I have a couple of friends that, I won't say a couple, I know one particular friend who has done the whole Thailand, Bali thing as well. And some other places in the tropics, the different places that these men are going. But sticking to Brazil, what I found out being in Brazil is that just even being around the women, even though we didn't speak the same language, I didn't see much of a difference from the way we are as women. Like the women that I was around, they had husbands that were from America, or they were dating guys that were in America, and they were soft and submissive and nurturing because they were also being treated delicately, gently, romantically, chivalrously. And I see the same thing with women in America. Black women in America, we have different circumstances. So culturally, there are going to be differences. The way people are raised, there's going to be differences. And then on top of that, the way people are treated, you're going to have different results based on how you're treated. So if you're dating a Black American woman and she's dealing with life the way it's been handed to her, and then she comes to you to try to date you, and you already have a chip on your shoulder about how this woman is or how women like her are, and you feel like you're guarded because you don't want to be used or taken advantage of, you're looking at her as a possible gold digger, you're feeling like she doesn't deserve a certain type of treatment without a hazing process or having to go through hell and high water, or you want her to build with you from the ground up and go through the trenches in order to win the prize of a loving relationship, then it's most likely you're going to get a version of her that you're not happy with. I know plenty of Black American women who love Black men and want to nurture them and be sweet on them and loving, and they have traditional values. They love to cook. They were raised to cook. They were raised seeing women cater to their man. They are submissive. They want their man to lead and handle things. But I'm also not oblivious to the fact that there are women who aren't like that either. But I do feel like we can't just base a few experiences or a certain amount of people or whatever it is that you've come across and just make every Black woman from America like treat us like we're a monolith. Every Black woman is not the same. And then I'll say that, again, there are similarities to women in other cultures where they're still women. So as much as some men think that they're going to go to another country and they're going to get this full, totally different experience of a woman, there's still certain things that she's going to expect and certain ways that she's going to want to be treated in order for her to continue to maintain this submissive, loving, caring, nurturing persona. If you mistreat her, disrespect her, you know, oppress her or whatever, eventually she's either going to try to get away from you or she's going to shut down emotionally, just like any other woman. So I think some men go down there and there is a lot of the guys that are going down there saying that they're just going there and meeting these women and the women love them so much and that I'm getting all this new treatment. It's a lot of transactional love going on down there. I will say that. Please share. Dr. Gary Whitaker says you have some pushback on the last statement. Please share. I'm willing to have a dialogue. This is not just me standing up here having a monologue. Like, I'm here live with y'all to talk about it. So I've seen a lot of transactional relationships going on in the sense of a lot of the men are going to brothels. The brothels are popping as beautiful Brazilian women in all different, from what I hear, I ain't been in it, but from what I hear, beautiful Brazilian women, some of the most beautiful women you could ever see, but they are sex workers and they are at these brothels getting paid to do whatever. I saw it with my own eyes, like prostitutes coming into the bars where they know the Americans are kicking it, and they're beautiful, but they know what they're there for. And then um, even with the ones who are just dating the guys, and it's not necessarily they're not a sex worker. Some of them are coming from situations where they're living in third world countries, they're in poverty. So what a man considers bare minimum, what we would consider bare minimum in America, may be a little bit more exciting for them in another country, because you can live off of damn near $10 a day in Brazil. Food, getting an Uber, go 20 minutes, $2. Get you a meal, $5. You know, you on the beach all day. You can pretty much make it off. I would say $20 a day if you dating somebody. It's not that much. So if somebody is out there spending $50 a day, man, you showing the woman something different that they're not used to. So of course, they're not dumb. They just speak a different language. They're not gonna show you that they're excited about what you can provide for them or to them. They're going to make you feel like you are just so handsome and you're everything, and oh my God, what can I do for you? Because, not saying that all of them are looking for a come up, but they are looking for a better lifestyle. So we gotta be real here. And some people are not keeping it real as to their motives or the motives of the people that they're dating in these other countries. Let's see. Dr. Gary Whitaker says, okay, I'm going to eat my food, then I'm going to hop on with you because I am in this restaurant and I can't hear that well. Okay. So, yes, I did see a lot of that going on. And honestly, I saw a lot of beautiful, gorgeous Brazilian women dating or married to Black American men that weren't traditionally attractive. I'll say that. And so it kind of does make sense, because who doesn't want an attractive mate, an attractive partner? So if you're in America and, we have a certain standard of beauty, standard of what we're attracted to, and you're not able to pull the baddies in America like you would want. And then you go to another country and these women are gorgeous, beautiful hair, skin, nails, bodies, they work out, they got all these qualities or whatever, and they accept you because, hey, you have some things to offer too. That is appealing. I'm just saying. So Dr. Gary Whitaker says there are some women out there that got motion already, so they don't need your funds. There are some women that have motion already, but the ones that I was seeing that was linking up with some of the men that I was seeing, they were doing all right. Some weren't. Yeah, so it just depends. And I'm not saying that every man has ill intentions. Some people do just want to explore their options and they're not limiting themselves to what's here. And I appreciate men who are doing that without having to disrespect, disregard, degrade, or shame Black women. Because your mama's Black. If you have daughters, your daughters are Black. Your sisters, your family, you come from Black women, and you're Black. So to have to down a whole race of women or a whole culture of women to be the reason why you're going to look for love other places, I don't agree with that at all. But if you're exploring your options, that's amazing, because I feel like Black women can take a page out of y'all handbook as well, because I personally don't date outside of my race, but that is also limiting my dating pool, because there are men of other races that try to talk to me all the time and they got it going on. They're attractive. They have great qualities. They have things going on, but it's just not my thing. Now, dating outside of my ethnicity or my nationality or my culture, I am open to. I've dated two Nigerian men from different tribes. And although it was a different experience, it was cool. It was good. But then there's also cultural differences too. So, and I've been warned. I've been warned by Nigerian women about Nigerian men, but I don't, I'm not blanketing every um every Nigerian person with those warnings and those red flags that I've been told. Sweet Tea Inspiration says, oh, first of all, Dr. Gary Whitaker says you are spot on with that. Some dudes don't got no game. They go to other countries. Sweet Tea Inspiration says, oftentimes the very thing you're running from, you'll run into. A woman is a woman. Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, from what I was seeing when I was there and just, different stories that I see online I don't really feed into it, to be honest. I'm talking about it because I saw this post earlier today, but I don't really give my energy too much to passport bros and that whole movement because, again, go where you're loved, go where you're seen, go where you're appreciated. Do you? It's when the disrespect comes in that I have to say something. But I saw that, and the first thing that popped in my head was I didn't like how he said that. He said it, but then he double backed on it because somebody called him out about it. But he was saying that other cultures of women or other nationalities do certain things better than Black women. And I'm just like, why do we have to compare and try to down Black American women? Because again, I've seen so many Black women who are just as submissive, nurturing, have traditional values, whatever it is that men are saying that they're getting from these other countries. I've seen it in Black women. And I see it even more, of course, for women who are properly loved and treated and handled in a way that is loving, caring, a man that is protective and a provider, and also loving and nurturing in return. And then I've also seen women have all of these qualities to men that don't deserve it. And I've seen men who will not be a safe space for women here while they're dating. Whether that's some type of anger problem, again, the chip on their shoulder with the bitterness, so they're guarded and they are rude or short or cold to the women here. They don't open up and they are just doing bare minimum. And then they go to another country and have a different experience and they think it's the women. It's not the women, it's yo ass. You're getting different results because first of all, you're acting different. And I've seen a clip. I haven't seen it in a while, but I saw it. It went viral a few years ago. And it was like a compilation of Black women with Black men, Black American women with Black men. And all of them were loud and hood and ratchet and ghetto and aggressive and cussing them out and fighting, doing the most. And then it showed a compilation of clips of Black women with white men. And they were soft spoken and sweet and loving and just all in their arms and just surrendering to the love. And again, of course, if you pick the worst examples from this scenario and the best examples from this scenario, you're going to see a difference. But they're not talking about why there is a difference. What is going on in the relationships where they're hostile and violent and ratchet and ghetto and aggressive? And what is happening in the relationships where they are loving and sweet and soft-spoken and feminine? It has nothing to do with the race of the man. It has everything to do with the treatment of the woman. And it has everything to do with that woman as well, because it's not just up to men to create femininity within us. So I'm not going to say that we can't be accountable for being feminine and being submissive and having certain qualities, and that we require a man to live a soft life or to be in our feminine energy. I don't go along with that either. But I will say that a man providing a safe space and being a good man is going to bring that out even more. He's going to be able to benefit from it, I will say. He's going to be able to benefit from what you already have within and what you're already exuding based on how he comes at you. Because we all come along with our own life experiences, our own set of baggage if you haven't unpacked and worked on that. So every woman is going to be different, and certain things will trigger certain reactions and behaviors. So it's a whole compilation of things that go into what type of energy you're going to get from a woman. And I just don't like the whole shout out to Commander Alpha Turkey. He says, hi, hello, I agree. Thank you. Appreciate you for pulling up. So I just don't agree with the whole turning women against each other, because I've seen women in other countries, specifically the Asian countries like Thailand and Bali and all of those places over there, where I've seen them like talking stuff like, yeah, you black women, y'all don't know how to treat your man, and now he's over here doing this and that. Like, let's not do that, please. Dr. Gary Whitaker says, I think the bringing it out is the biggest issue. There are certain groups of women where it's naturally present. And is it certain groups of women, meaning every woman from this region is naturally present, or from their culture is naturally present, or just you've noticed it more often when you visited certain places? Like, elaborate on what certain groups of women that is naturally present. And yeah, I don't think that it is the responsibility of the man to bring it out, but I do think that a man's presence and his treatment of a woman makes her feel safe enough to lean into that energy. Because I do believe that being completely feminine and submissive does require feeling safe. So a part of feeling safe is our own work that we have to do. Like, our root chakra governs feeling safe and feeling protected. So feeling grounded and making sure that we're doing the work to unpack past traumas and heal from certain things to be safe within our own bodies. That is a part of our own work that we have to do, whether we're in a relationship or not, whether a man is present or not. And that may require seeking therapy. That may require starting to do yoga. There are certain other tools that I can share with people if they want them. If you book a session, I'll share with you. But there are certain methods that you can use to kind of work on your root chakra, to feel grounded and feel safe within your body. It may require some outside tools, exercises, all of that, and then self-healing, of course, journaling, all type of things. But then when it comes to our outer and external world, you know, there's multiple things to have to do to feel safe. Like, we live in a country where it's kind of hard to feel safe because there's so much that goes on that are out of our control. And unfortunately, a lot of the violence can often come from men. So whether it's men being violent amongst themselves, or men being violent towards women and experiencing certain things that make a woman feel guarded and not feel safe enough to just be soft and feminine. Like, there's time, I use the example of time and a place, because, like, okay, as a feminine woman, you know, you naturally, every femininity doesn't look the same in everybody. But let's just say, as a feminine woman, you're, you know, frolicking through the city and you're outside walking, you know, you have your shoulders back, your head up, you have a sexy glide, you know, you are just surrendering and you're just being, and you're just outside, just being your feminine self. If you are not being aware and being diligent to seeing your surroundings and having somewhat of a protective energy around you, like, you're kind of setting yourself up for harm if you're not being aware of your surroundings and all of that. So it's kind of the same way of relating to a man, if that makes sense. Like, if you have a man that makes you feel like they're not safe to be relaxed and just letting your guard down, it's going to take some time to build that trust. because it's not as easy. Like, men say it sounds stupid when a woman says a certain type of man will make them feel like they want to be feminine. And they're like, well, what if I said I'm not going to be masculine unless I'm around a certain type of woman or something like that? Well, where men will say, I don't think that masculinity requires safety. Like, I feel like femininity requires a sense of safety in a certain sense. Femininity can mean multiple things. It's not just about being pretty and dainty and, all of that. It's other things that make up femininity. But masculinity, I don't think can be compared. It's different. So I don't go along with that. So Dr. Gary Whitaker says culture. And again, there are certain groups of women where it's naturally present. I'm assuming he's talking about femininity and nurturing and being traditional. And that's not just from other countries. That's within America too. There's some people that were raised in a different type of culture. Black American culture, we have a lot in common. Like, it seems like all of us grew up in the same life. We know the same things. If you say, like, what do black mamas say? Or, we talking about spades and Uno and hopscotch and certain dances and certain music and all of that. So we share a lot of the same culture, but then at the same time, we have differences as well. So, some people were raised in 2-parent homes. Some people were raised with a loving single mother. Some people were raised with a loving single father. Some people were raised within having trauma. Some people were raised by their grandparents. So they have traditional, old school values. A lot of people in the South, they, were raised to cater to their man and cook for their man and all of the things. So it just depends on your culture within your home, not just within this country, because it's like a melting pot of not just other races and nationalities. It's a melting pot of influence and culture within the Black community as well. So I don't think that we should label all Black American people as having this one culture of being rough or aggressive or whatever, masculine or non-submissive, and all of the things that we often get labeled. So I don't know, y'all. I just think that a lot of times the men who are going to other countries looking for love and feeling like finding love in America is not possible. They end up running to the other countries and realizing that it's not even the women, it's them. Because I've seen the men that have these complaints about women, and I'm just looking like, there's some things that clearly I'm looking at that you could work on. And that is why your dating experiences haven't been as great as you would like them to be. But instead of working on them, they take the same energy and take it to a different country, and then they still have similar complaints, or they don't have the results that they were looking for because they avoid doing the work. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. And I don't know. I'm thinking another thing, even with the guy that made that statement, the one that played Biggie, he is not necessarily the traditional type of handsome. So because he has been in a big movie such as Notorious, and I think he played Biggie in the Tupac movie as well, and then he's a Tubi actor, I can guess that he probably feels like he should have access to a different caliber of woman than he may have had access to before he was famous. So if he was just an average Joe guy that looked exactly how he looks, he's overweight. He's not an ugly man at all, but I'm just saying he's not traditionally handsome. I don't think he would even be thinking that he can pull the type of women that he feels that he should be able to pull as a famous man. So the women that he's trying to go after, like the woman pointed out, if you're trying to go for the baddest of the baddies and you're seeking IG models or whatever type of woman that is probably providing herself with a lifestyle of going to Ruth Chris and buying designer bags or whatever. And you're most likely leading with that you got it and that you have this certain lifestyle. And then when you get with the woman that is expecting you to live up to that image or live up to how you approached her, then you complain about it, because not only is she holding you accountable for living up to what you say you're going to do, she's also not providing you with the things that the other qualities that you want. Meanwhile, there are probably women who are just as beautiful that aren't really like a baddie, a traditional baddie, but that would give you all of the things that you want, treat you like a king, take care of you, be nurturing, not look at you for your money. Here in America, that you're probably overlooking because you don't feel like they meet the baddie persona or archetype that you're looking for to have on your arm. And oftentimes, if a man would look at maybe the women that aren't so popular or aren't so out there or well known, you can find an average woman that is working, a nurse, a CNA, whatever. Boosie found his woman I think she worked at IHOP, either IHOP or Waffle House, and she's beautiful and she's a baddie, aesthetically a baddie. And so sometimes, and I I met Boosie before too, and I'm not trying to just clout chase, but he showed, I ain't gonna say showed interest in me, but he let his people know that he was attracted to me. I had on a nursing uniform. I was coming to meet one of the promoters to get my tickets for his show in Colorado. And then when he saw me through the restaurant window, I didn't know he was there. He was like, "Hey, tell her to come back." I was looking average looking girl. I could probably show you a picture. What I looked like when I met Boosie. So he is one of the rappers, I would say, that doesn't always try to go for the baddest of the baddest, even though his crush is Rihanna. He's normally going for just a regular down to earth young lady that he could probably upgrade with a little bit of, letting her into his lifestyle. And next thing you know, she's a baddie too. This is how I looked when I met Boosie. This was 2014. I had on my scrubs. I was coming from my break at the clinic. And he said, "Hey, tell her to come back." That's how I look. So a lot of these guys, they just want to get the baddies and want them to be nuns. Not saying that some baddies got it all, honey. So Vigilante says, I used to think, hold on, let me just do this. I used to think the passport bros were lames, but after my Dan test came out and the women reach out from my tribes, I saw the clear difference. And that coming from a very handsome rich man, I do very well with women here, but I'm still not treated like how I would like, or how I would be in any other country. I see it every day. Hey, Broken Traditions, shout out to you. Anybody that's on my in my comments, make sure y'all go support Broken Traditions. He has a great show, great content. Hello. And Broken Tradition says, I don't think most men want the baddies. I don't think so either, but I think a lot of the men who are going to other countries that are talking bad about Black women in America, a lot of them want the baddies and they're having more luck getting them in the other country. Because again, being in Brazil, seeing all the beautiful women, and they're beautiful and they are traditionally, they have traditional values or whatever, come in and sweeping up and cleaning up, and they don't mind cooking or whatever. They're not looking for too much. And a lot of them are very impressed by the upgrade of the lifestyle. A few $100s, sending them a few $100s from America can literally upgrade their whole life. Like better apartment, being able to have air conditioning, like simple things that we look at as just the bare minimum are luxuries. So certain things are like, wow, and they are baddies. And I would say that the ones that do have something going on, they're going to have the same type of requirements that the women in America got something going on. They got something going on. Vigilante says nothing wrong with baddies, but since the movements in America have allowed women to operate however they want to, are just as much to blame for eliminating shame out of the culture. Let me repeat that so I can understand. Nothing wrong with baddies, but since the movements in America have allowed women to operate however they want to, are just as much to blame for eliminating shame out of the culture. So how should women be allowed to operate? So again, I don't give a damn if you go to South America, Africa, Asia, India, Alaska, Antarctica, Australia, Europe, wherever you want to go to find love, please do. My only issue is do not shame, blame, degrade, or disrespect Black American women in the process. Just go do you. Go do you, please. And I encourage women who are open to it to not limit their dating experiences either, because there are Black American women who are doing the same, going out of the country, dating outside of their race that are having a blast. If that's for you, I've limited my dating pool greatly from wanting to be with my preference is a Black American man, but I will date a Black man of a different, a Black man from the diaspora. I am open to it, depending on how we get along culturally, honey. Because, like I said, I've dated Nigerian men before, and I didn't have any problems with the Nigerian men, except for they, sometimes they be living double lives, honey. But I'm not gonna say every Nigerian man is like that. But I've come across some that be talking about they live with their sister, and the sister ends up being the wife, and it's like, Commander Alpha Turkey says being happy shouldn't include putting other people down. Comes off as saltier than a peanut. Facts. But I got into a whole argument when I was in Brazil because my homeboy we were sitting there with a Black man from America who actually lives in Brazil now. He's been living in Brazil for like 14 years. I interviewed him too. If you check my page, there's an interview with Ahmad Amar. He lives in Brazil, in Salvador, Bahia. He has been living there, I think, 14 years. He's from New York. And I got his opinion about his experience in Brazil, living there, the culture, the dating, all of that. But we were sitting there talking, and my homeboy got to talking about how, why he wants to find his wife in Brazil. And then he started talking about Black women in America. And then, of course, my spidey senses went up because, baby, you're sitting at the table with a Black woman in America. Shout out to the Ibby, the _Ibby on Instagram. What up? The _IBII. I bring ideas and inspiration. Craig. If you are not following Ibby, make sure you do that. If you have kids, if you need some motivation, if you have anybody that's needing a little bit of inspiration, make sure you're following Ibby. Make sure you're following Sweet Tea Inspirations for your daily Zestful Living morning show to rise and shine at 8 o'clock. She has her Zest for Life social club and support group for women over 35 looking to rediscover their zest for life, and the Lady Academy for women looking to tap into their femininity, since we're talking about it, sensuality, their confidence, healing, self-awareness, and all of the great things. All right, Vigilante says there's a thin line between talking bad a black woman, I guess that means about a black woman, and telling one's experience. Accountability is gone, so it's a pointless conversation. I just had a date with a Luba tribe member tonight. Now, it is I don't think it's a thin line. I think it's a thick line between talking about your experiences and talking bad about black women. The difference is when you talk about your experiences, you're talking about your experience with an individual. When you're talking about black women, you're grouping in the whole entire country of women to talk about what you've experienced with one or two individuals. Even if it's 10 or 15 or 20 individuals, it's still not everybody. So I think that's where the line gets blurred. So please, I talk about my past experiences all the time, and they're not always favorable about the person that I'm talking about. And every time I'm talking about these experiences, it's about black men. But you'll never hear me say black men ain't this, black men ain't that, black men ain't about. No, I might say this person, this is what I experienced from them, and this is what I received from it. And I could talk about my part as well. Vigilante says it was a clear difference, and I love black American women. I'm just honest. I'm not a supporter of the lack of accountability culture. So you've dated every black woman in America, and you've dated every member of the Luba tribe? Because you can say that your experience with the woman from the Luba tribe that you dated was much different from your experiences that you've had with the black women that you've dated. That's the only difference that I'm trying to get you to understand. It's not about sharing the differences that you've experienced. It's about not grouping everybody into those comments. My question then becomes how the podcasting space worldwide became that the woman as a whole in the West became the worst as a global talking point. Let me repeat that because I'm not understanding. My question then becomes how the podcasting space worldwide became that the women as a whole in the West became the worst as a global talking point. I don't know. You got to ask the people that's saying it. I don't know. I don't know. And see, if everybody is having, but there, we're going to keep talking about this. Y'all keep talking about it in the comments, and I'm going to address the comments. But I want to shift the energy to the next conversation too, because I wasn't just going to talk just about the passport bros today, but we definitely can continue the conversation as I keep it moving. But overall, some Black American men express their desire for partners from different cultural backgrounds. They're citing reasons such as perceived differences in traditional values, femininity, and relational dynamics. The Passport Bros movement is definitely describing men who move abroad, often to developing countries, seeking romantic relationships. Some of them are into sexual exploitation, and some of them are actually looking for love. Their motivations include dissatisfaction with Western dating norms and a desire for partners they believe embody more traditional or submissive roles. However, this movement has definitely faced criticisms for perpetuating exploitive dynamics and unrealistic expectations. So interracial marriages have become increasingly accepted in the U.S. since civil rights movement. Approval in national opinion polls has risen from 36% in 1978 to 87% overall in 2013. Notably, Black men are more than twice as likely to date and marry interracially than Black women. So Vigilante says, you just proved my point. And what was your point? You feel like I'm not willing to take accountability on the conversation because I said the entire conversation is not going to be about this? Or what was your point? Because it wasn't going to be about this. I can share my script with you. And I'm open to continuing the conversation, but I want to make sure, because I'm at 55 minutes, this is supposed to be an hour show. I want to make sure I'm reaching all my topics, but keep talking about it. I'm still open. So I wanted to also talk about another post that I saw today. And it was about David Banner. I actually saw it the other day, but I saw it again today. And it's basically about a lot of the backlash that David Banner received about saying that he, at 50 years old, is now ready to settle down. And a lot of people were saying, I guess a lot of women were feeling like, oh, now that you have, ran through whoever, or maybe you burnt out, or you at this certain age, now you want to settle down, start a family, and get married. So, I think that this is a narrative that we need to get rid of as well, because it's not just with men, it's with women too nowadays when it comes to waiting until a later age to start a family or to settle down. When people hear when you're over a certain age and you have never been married, or maybe you have no children, all of a sudden they're asking, what the hell is wrong with you? And no one is, I'm not going to say no one, but a lot of people are not realizing that sometimes people have a plan for their lives. Sometimes people have certain standards that, if not met, they are not willing to waver on them before they start having children or getting married. And some people have certain things in place that they want to accomplish before they do all of that. And so David Banner was saying that he is not only an accomplished rapper, he is an actor, he's a producer, and he's an activist. I don't know if you all are familiar with David Banner. He's from Mississippi. Excuse me. He is a great rapper, and producer and actor, but like, he has devoted a lot of his time in the past years to really stand for a cause, and he is into activism. He's been on tour teaching and preaching and doing all the things. So he's basically saying that when he gets to know women and he's asking about love languages and needs and all of what they're looking for from a man, he said one woman told him she wants a successful man who has is willing to spend quality time with her. And he's like, how does that work? And so I talked about that. I want to say last week we talked about creating lists of our desires, of our desired partner, and how sometimes, which, shout out to, I think his name is Nico. I met him on Fanbase, and he did a exercise with me, put me on the spot in the audio room, and he's like, tell me some of the qualities you want in a man. So I gave him some of them, and whatever he did, he came back with every positive quality that I liked or wanted or desired in a man, and he gave me the flip side of it. So he's like, okay, you like men who are their own boss, they're a CEO or whatever. Are you willing to accept that this man might not always have enough time for you? Or you like a man who is conscious. Are you willing to be with a man that is devoting a lot of his time in community and doing, nonprofit work, or, whatever. So he was giving me the flip side to everything. And so that was David Banner's point. You want a successful man. And not saying that success requires so much hard work, because if you get to a certain level of success, you are able to have your money, make money, and all of that. But at certain stages of your success journey, you do have to put in the work and set things in place and create your systems and all of that in order to be getting your coins, which require a lot of work, time, devotion, travel, whatever it is that you need to do, handling business, having meetings, staying up all night, being in your office. You might not have as much time to devote to a relationship. So I don't think that we should be judging or having a backlash for him being 50 years old, saying he's now ready to settle down. He's now in a place where he's able to devote his time, energy, and effort into a relationship, and to have his children, by one woman. Well, let me address Vigilante's comment before we move all the way on. So he said, it's okay. We can move on. We can move on. That was a perfect example, though. What was the perfect example? You're not elaborating on what the perfect example is or what you are proving, what point you're proving. I love David's breakfast interview. American revolutionaries will never be respected or celebrated. I think he just realized that, as I did. So yeah, I think that David Banner is dope. He ain't gonna have no problem I've seen him a couple of times in Atlanta, and his energy is so amazing. Like you'll see certain celebrities that are unapproachable, untouchable, not really personable, and he's not like that at all. The first time I saw him, I want to say it was probably like maybe 2015 or something like that. I was fairly new to Atlanta. I was on a date. We were at the movies. And I think he was on a date too. And we were standing there waiting to get in the movie theater. And everybody started just flooding him and walking up to him. And he was just so cool. Like, hey, what's up? He took pictures with people. Very personable. And then I saw him again maybe 2 years ago at one of these salad restaurants where you go, it's like a salad. It wasn't Salada. It was a different one somewhere in Atlanta. And he was with a woman then too. Um, but my mom spoke to him and he was very sweet. Like, she was like, oh, hey, sweetie. And he was like, hey, how you doing? Like, very good energy. He's handsome. He's talented. And he loves Black women. So he ain't going to have a problem finding him a good one. I want to see if I can get to the part where he says something about Black women on here. Let me see.
Do you think you're ready to do what the fuck you want to do?
I feel like the pushback came mostly from women or men on the marriage conversation.
My resurgence is because of the Black woman and their love and admiration for me. And usually it's just one person. See, we don't read the comments. T-Pain taught me this, like that we should just make sure that we do better with treating each other, and respecting each other. And the Black woman has done that for me. It's just a lot of loud negative voices. It's one or two people.
I was going to ask you, did the marriage conversation because?
Yeah, so I like that about him, that he speaks highly of Black women. I love that too. I love it. Okay. So yes, I think we need to stop judging. And I do see, again, it's not just with men of a certain age, it's with women as well. As y'all know, I'm 36. I've been married before, but I don't have children yet. And I don't necessarily get the what's wrong with you question, but I get the, do you want kids? Aren't you, don't you need to start? I used to get that from family a lot, especially once I started getting in my late 20s, early 30s, the question of, what's taking me so long to have kids? And I'm just like, no shade, but I'm looking at certain situations around me and not even not just in my close circle, but just in general, of people who have chosen to have children just to have them. And, you're going through issues with the father, either they're not present or it's drama. You're not happy, you're dealing with depression, you don't have help, you're complaining about not having a village and all of these things that I'm trying to make sure I have situated prior to having a child. Now, I understand being in the medical field. I was in the medical field for over 13 years, was a nurse for over 10 years. I'm a certified yoni steam practitioner. I am a trained labor doula. So I've been in the space of medical field and womb wellness and maternal health and all of the things. I know that there are risks that increase when you're over 35, but I also know a lot of the medical research and data is based on women that don't look like me, women whose bodies are not like mine. And just, I don't need that type of negative energy over my womb and my future and all of that. So I kind of set boundaries when it comes to certain people having certain conversations with me about my choice of when I want to have a child. I'm seeing a lot of women deciding to start families in their late 30s and in their 40s. I think it's beautiful. There's risk at any age. So you just have to stay prayed up, get your body, mind, and spirit as healthy as possible. Also, make sure your partner is being healthy, because a man's health also matters when it comes to conceiving and having a healthy baby. Like your sperm being healthy matters too. It helps it helps determine whether or not a woman is going to be able to maintain her pregnancy. Some of the miscarriages are due to weak sperm or unhealthy sperm. And having a safe space for a woman while she's pregnant, being supportive and all of that, and just making sure you got your shit together as well. Vigilante says, I think the women as a whole need to be celebrated. The divine submission, feminine ones of every race, love Black women, but I'm not biased to them. I'm progress overall, not just with us. Okay. Well, over here, Osha Cerese is celebrating Black excellence, Black people, Black women, Black men. Everybody else, they can be celebrated as well. They're beautiful, love you. But I'm going to put light, shine light, and lift up my people, my ancestors, the people that have brought me here, the people that look like me, the people who support me, love me, my village, my people. And again, I don't have no hate or anything against anybody that doesn't look like me, but it is not my responsibility to shine light on or celebrate or uplift anybody else. So if you would like to do that and continue to do that on your platforms, please feel free. I'm all for you doing that. So, and that's why the men that I prefer to have in my life, on a romantic level, friend level, all of that, I do prefer men who are conscious and pro-Black and proud to be Black and uplift their women in their lives, that have brotherhood, that love themselves, love where they come from. And I'm not talking about you, Vigilante. I'm just saying I have a great appreciation for people who uplift our race and our culture. So that's what I do as well. I grew up with a pro-Black father. My mother is pro-Black as well. We love our roots, where we come from, our history, our people, our community. And yeah, it's black. It's black, blackity, black, black, black over here. Cheers to being Black. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm so proud and grateful. I have so much gratitude for my melanin, so much gratitude for my culture. I'm so grateful that I am a Black woman, that I am Black, that I am a woman. I'm grateful for it all. Vigilante says, I'm not mad at that. God created all men and I'm created in his image. So absolutely. Absolutely. So y'all, thank you all for tuning in and pulling up. Continue to share your thoughts on, dating outside of your race, culture, religion, nationality, ethnicity. Peace and light, the word 9%. Continue to share how you feel about it. Are you open to it? What have been your experiences? What are some of the things that you like about dating within your culture? What are some things that you dislike? What are some great highlights that you've had dating outside of your culture? And what are some things that didn't really sit well with you? Again, I haven't really had that much experience because I definitely prefer to date Black American men, but my ex-husband was half Black, half Korean. And although he was a Black man from Mississippi, from the Delta, he was raised by his Black father and his Black grandmother. When we lived in Colorado, that's where I'm from. That's where me and him met. That's where we lived together. His mother lived there with her new husband. his stepfather, and both of them were from different cultures. So his mother is Korean, from Seoul, Korea, Seoul, South Korea, and his father or his stepfather was Persian. He's from Iran. And being able to experience different cultures on that end had its pros and its cons as well. Um, they were both not labeling them to be the representatives for their whole culture, but they exposed me to certain things, certain foods. Love me some kimchi, some yakimandu, and all of the things. Being able to learn about certain aspects of their culture, of course, was amazing. I think I have a gift somewhere around here of the Iranian king that they gave me. I think it's over there in the corner. But yeah, it was cool on that end. Some of the cons were, I don't think that they always understood Black culture. I think that they had a negative understanding of Black people. So even though my ex-mother-in-law married a Black man and had 2 Black sons, I think based on her experience with her ex-husband and maybe some of the things she dealt with when she lived in Mississippi and whatever else she experienced when she dated Black men, and then when she got with her new husband, it was almost like she felt like having good things to say about the Black culture was almost like disloyal to her new husband, who was Iranian. It was almost like she couldn't say nice things, and I don't think he was racist. I think he was biased, though. I think they both had prejudices, for sure. Sometimes it felt like they didn't think that we deserved nice things, or it was a lot of prejudice. And I remember they would always treat me like the Black representative. I ain't gonna say they. Sometimes his mother would be like, why do Black people do this? And why do I'm like, girl, I don't know. Why did they do it? I don't represent all them folks. She had got on the she used to park her car at the parking ride and take the bus to her job. And she was telling me she had got on the bus earlier that day and a group of young Black men were being loud and being reckless or whatever. And she was like, why do Black people do that? Girl, I said, I don't know. I guess they didn't have no home training. Like, that was them. So things like that. And then the guys that I dated that were from Nigeria, it was kind of like dating any other Black man. I enjoy partying with Nigerian people, honestly. Like, they were in Houston. I love Houston. Houston is one of my favorite cities. Houston is one of the top Nigerian populated cities in America. I think it goes New York, DC, Houston, Atlanta, something like that. And so a lot of the clubs are owned by Nigerian people. Nigerian music, like, I got introduced to Naija music, Afro beats, and all of that visiting Houston. So the culture, it was amazing. Like, dancing. I love a man that can dance, that has fun, that, they're into their spirituality, their religion, they're into family. They are very traditional. They don't mind having a good time, spending money, don't be no object, all of that. That's cool. I'm trying to think, I don't feel like the guys that I dated were, because stereotypically people say that Nigerian or African men can be more controlling. I didn't experience that too much, not for real. Maybe, they were masculine men and leaders, but I didn't feel like they were controlling. Not at all. Okay, Vigilante says, are we separating the African women from the American Black women who is also African? I'm not sure how you categorize it. Let me know. Yes, and in this sense, in this conversation, we are talking about Black American women and Black women or other races of the Black women of the diaspora. So in Africa, they're Black, but they're not Black American. And then any woman outside of the race as well that's not Black. The word 9% says, dang, I missed it. I'm identified as Black and my wife is Arab. She was the first person I dated outside my race. Honestly, it ain't no difference. All women is crazy. Oh God, I keep trying to tell these folks, women is women. Vigilante says, to answer the question about being proud to be Black, I don't think I asked the question, but okay. I'm proud to be African. I'm proud to be Timne, Ibu, Mende, Kru, Fulani, and Balanta. Awesome, awesome, awesome. The word 9% says, I grew up having multicultures in my family, and my wife is open-minded. I practice my Native American spiritual practices, and she left her religion to practice mine. Okay. And then again, also I have biracial family members as well. My niece is half white. Um, I think I have two other little cousins that are half white. Get along with they mamas just fine. You part of the family. Hey girl, my sister-in-law and me used to be real close. Since my niece has gotten a little older, we not as close as we once were, but of course, it ain't no beef at all. And again, seeing the relationships between my Black brother, Black cousins with their exes or currents that are white, they go through certain things that any other relationship would how they would experience. And one of my cousins said, if you see me with a white woman again, I'm holding her for the police. He had a bad experience. So everybody's experiences are different. All right, Dr. Gary Whitaker, I need to send you, I don't normally bring guests onto this show, but I'm wondering if I can send you a link. Let me see. Did you want to come on and talk? Because I guess I could send you a link. Y'all not gonna have me on here all night though. Let me know, and then okay, you want to come on? Hold on, y'all. Jeez, let's see. Okay, I'm about to send you a link. Again, y'all, I ain't gonna be on here all night, so we gonna. But I'm willing to let you come on and say what you got to say. Say what you need to say. What I need to do, y'all know I have another show called Connections and Conversations. So we're gonna do a quick little bring you on for this one because I don't usually have guests on this show, but I'm gonna let you come on. And then I just DM'd you, Dr. Gary Whitaker. And then I'm gonna have you on as a guest for Connections and Conversations where we can dive a little bit deeper into the conversation. But we'll kick it off now. The word 9% says, I was born in the backwoods of Pennsylvania and grew up on the east side of Detroit. So I got the woods hood in me a mess. I was born in Birmingham and I grew up in Colorado. And I ain't gonna say, I mean, it was hood-ish. I grew up hood in the hood-ish, not too hood, but like hood adjacent. But I grew up in my house with my two parents, so I didn't grow up too crazy. I was a little sheltered. All right. So we're waiting for Dr. Gary Whitaker to come on and kind of share his experience with being in Bali in Thailand. All right. You here? Can you hear me?
Check 1 2. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the Osha Cerese Show. How you doing?
What's up, Osha Cerese? How you doing?
Good. Osha Cerese.
Oh, Cerese, my bad. Osha Cerese.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I don't know where you are in the conversation. I wanted to I know the topic of the show was it why are black men going to other places for dating?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Finding love abroad, yeah.
Yeah, so just to give you the background, I went to Thailand for 60 days. I went to Bangkok and I went to Pattaya.
Mm-hmm.
And I also went to Bali for 30 days. So I was out of the country for a total of 90 days. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that there are some let me just preface this. I don't think there's a need to put black women down or to pit groups of women against black women.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say that I feel like in America, black women have been conditioned a certain way, right? And the conditioning happens in the language, right? And so and I'm catching a part of what you said. I don't know the whole context of it, but I remember you were talking about how black women would how other women in other countries would accept the bare minimum, and some black women would be like, no, I'm not accepting the bare minimum.
Well, right? let me correct that.
Okay, go ahead.
Not necessarily the bare minimum, but like what the guy said, I can't even remember his name, the guy that played Biggie in Notorious, was saying that the women in America, the black women in America, want Ruth Chris and want designer bags and all of that, when he doesn't have to do all of that in order to be treated like a king in other countries. So I have seen men not necessarily do the bare minimum. They're actually treating the women nicely, the same way that a black American woman would love to be treated. So yeah. They're getting the energy that they're reciprocating the energy. They are getting the energy that a black woman would also be submissive and sweet to in most cases. So okay. I've seen certain men treat black American women a certain way due to whatever past experiences, bitterness, anger, whatever the case, fear, being cold, being guarded. And then they'll let their guards down when they're in the other countries, and they're chivalrous, they're being gentlemen, they're being respectful, romantic. So of course, and then I'm basically saying not necessarily the bare minimum, but a little goes a long way in the other countries.
Okay. So let me just put this out there. There are a lot of simps that come from America and that go out there to other countries, Southeast Asia, Dominican Republic. I can only talk about Thailand and Bali. Bali, not so much, but definitely Thailand. And you hit something on a nail on the head, like a guy that don't really got no emotion, that doesn't know how to talk to women. Those guys would thrive out in other countries because they don't have the same standards to meet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing about when you are talking to black women, you got to come correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you got to have some sort of swag about yourself. Now, there are a large portion of those dudes that don't got that swag.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so for them, they have an opportunity to create who they are over there. They could be a totally different person over there that's different from who they are in the United States.
Right.
There are some dudes that go over there and they get because the bar girl scene is heavy. Mm-hmm. And they mistake that bar girl love with how all the women over there are going to treat them, and that's false.
Right.
You got to understand what that is and what role that plays over there, mm-hmm. Right? But what you talked about the femininity thing, the only thing I say, Asha, is that you don't got to bring it out of them. Mm-hmm. It's there from the gate and it don't leave.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that.
Huh?
I can understand and agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think that's the most appealing thing about it, is that we don't have to bring it out of them. And then even like just going up talking to girls is different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, of course, you might have some language barriers where some of them might not have as good English, but for the most part, they're willing to listen to you. And the reason why is because, like, even in Thailand, the lady boy is the highest tier.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's some Thai women that believe lady boys look better than Thai women. You know, so there's a social order that kind of goes on out there, that there's a lot of single women, you know, and then you also have to be mindful too of where you meet them at. So now I will say this, you know, there are the type of women that are looking for a meal ticket, just like we got out here.
Right.
But there's also a segment of the population of Thai women that are educated, that got motion going, and they're not afraid to show that they care about a man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to take them on 5 or 6 dates for them to become a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they're usually very direct with you, and they let you know what they want. And of course, you know, like one thing you said that was true is like women all over the world are going to have certain standards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely just in the approach of how it's carried out in the United States. You know?
Yeah.
So I definitely can say, like, in Thailand, it matters where you meet people at. Like, if you meet girls at the club, you know, they're going to be doing what club girls do, just like girls out here that you meet in the club. Now, you can meet girls at coffee shops and out and about. And I'll just say that I feel like they're more approachable. In my experience, a lot of the women out there were more approachable. If not, they would approach you or give you some sort of indicator that they're interested. And I feel like in social settings out here, maybe in these newer times, I feel like it's harder to approach women. That's why dating apps are popular.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's my synopsis on Thailand.
Yeah. And I think everything, everything that you said can be 100% true and accurate. And I do agree that a lot of the experience that men have when they go out there is exactly what you're describing. But I also will say that exactly what you're describing is also available here in America. Every woman is not combative. Every woman does not have to have a certain thing done, or, you know, a man do certain things for her to be feminine. Like, there are feminine women out here. There are women that are lover girls, that are nurturing, that want to do all the things for their man, that, you know, a lot of them are being labeled pick-me's. Some women, you know, it don't take that much. Now, as far as the being approachable, the show topic last night was actually about women making the first move. And I'm seeing that I'm gonna have another show about it too, but I think I'm gonna do it with on the Connections and Conversations series, so I can have some different guests to talk about it. But I'm seeing that it's getting more popular for women to have to make the first move. And, you know, a lot of the movements that have occurred here in America can be a part of, you know, contributed to that. Me Too movements and different things, feminist movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, men are kind of afraid of, like, damn, if I approach you, are you gonna think, you know, I'm at you in a certain way? And women are afraid too, because there is a lot of violence against women, specifically in this country. Like, personally, I've lost a cousin to violence of a man, a grown man trying to talk to her when she was 15, and she turned down his advances and he literally killed her. So that's an experience that I had from being 13 years old and my 15-year-old cousin getting, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of us have experienced trauma when it comes to rejecting a man or about violent things. And so it's a different culture all around. So a lot of women do have their guards up, even when it comes to feeling safe. And then our dating pool is just crazy right now. It's too much men against women going on. And, you know, something happened post-pandemic. I don't know. But
this is the thing too. This is the thing about that, right? Like I always like to break down numbers, right? Did you know that only 14% of the world population is above 6 feet tall?
I've heard that. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I think in America, I don't want to misquote it, but I forgot what the percentage of men that make over 6 figures is. But I know it's in the single digits.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you got to think about the list of things that women want. They want a nurturer, they want a provider, they want all these different things, right? So essentially, I seen it on social media one time where it was these two women, right? They went on the same date with the same man and did the same stuff. And I think he took them, like, he did some art with them, and basically they found out that they both went on the same date. And
I saw that.
Yeah, what that brought up for me was that women are gunning for the same men. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that, you know, there's a shortage. There's definitely a shortage of men. You got men that these are things that kind of knock off the supply. So you got jail, you got homosexuality, you got just men that are not really masculine, that have more beta qualities. You know what I mean? Like they're not alpha presenting, or they don't have that masculine energy present. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And women are not really attracted to that. They get those guys, but they're not attracted to them long term. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're like the safe choice men, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think all of those things makes it to where women are gunning for the same men, right? Yeah. And so then women don't want to share,
right?
So every woman wants to have their own person, their own. And then I think too, you know, like even marriage is risky. You know what I mean? Because I think the statistics say that 70% of marriages are ended by women.
I think it's 80.
Okay, so then even if it's higher, so think about that. Those odds, you got a 20% chance of staying with the woman that you decide you want to spend the rest of your life with.
I mean, when you word it in that way, people are not talking about why the women are the ones that are initiating the divorces more. And I talked about this on the show too, I think last week. A lot of the times, from just talking to different men and the research that I've done, men are staying in the relationships or the marriages waiting on the woman to make the first move to end the relationship. Either they're staying because they have children and they don't want to go from waking up being in the same household with their children and their family to having to co-parent and do visitation and go through the courts and all of that, or they feel like it's cheaper to keep her, or they are unhappy and miserable, and instead of initiating it, they will sabotage it and wait for the woman to end it. So there's multiple reasons why women are the ones that are initiating the divorce.
This is true, but Asha, that number, you ain't doing nothing with it. Like if I tell you if you go to work, mm-hmm. it's an 80% chance you won't get paid.
But if you say the 80% chance you won't get paid is due to if you're not showing up, doing your best job, doing the best work, if you don't come, if you're always late, if you come to work with a bad attitude, if you're not appreciative of your job, then 80%.
No, we can see. No, look, no.
You gotta give the reasons. Now,
I know
like,
that's true.
If you show up and you do your best and you reciprocate the energy and you complete your tasks and you on time, you know, that number changes.
Yeah, but there are men that do that. There are men that show up, and I've heard people just be like, "Oh, I don't have the spark anymore," or you know what I'm saying. So I think that in this society right now where we at, I do think that social media has a bigger influence than we actually know.
Yeah.
I think the number one thing is it comes down to like a man will never be able to compete with the amount of activity a woman gets in her inbox. and I'm gonna tell you why. Because even out here, you got simps. Oh, beautiful. Hey, beautiful. Oh, you so fun. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's what a simp is.
Huh?
Does that make a man a simp to
That's
compliment a woman?
simping. Because you trying to say what you need to say just so you're not creating a genuine organic conversation. You know what I'm saying? You're over complimenting a woman, and you're not using your skills, you know what I mean, to be able to get to know her, to know what she like, stuff like that. And so, like, anytime a man is like, oh, beautiful, da, 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 you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that's simping to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Hold your thought. Let me get through some of these comments real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the word 9% says, I'm gonna be honest. I hear the stigma on Black women will say this is feel like what y'all be saying in these comments. Feel like it represents the low quality, and people personify the minority as the majority. Every group has low quality.
Yeah.
Facts. Naga Genie says American women doesn't necessarily have traditional traits and more combative versus other women such as the Caribbean still have a lot of traditional traits and less combative. Y'all be saying that, but I've seen some spicy ass Caribbean women that don't play no games either.
Look, let me tell you something. You know what? I could say, you know, one thing I noticed too, and not all, but just the ones that I ran across, like some Ethiopian women are very, very feminine, very nurturing, very caring, like down for the cause, got your back. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I say I feel like it's been engineered. And don't get me wrong, I've had a nice amount of Black women in this country that are feminine, that do got your back, that do fuck with you the hard way. I just think that in this new age, I think that in order for us to succeed, we better together. And I think that so this is the thing. So look, I was talking to this Australian lady, right? Older Australian lady. We was on the beach chopping it up, right? And she was telling me about how she met this Black dude from Vegas, right? And she had a good job or whatever, and she was really into this guy. You know what I'm saying? And when she was younger, she was fine. You know what I'm saying? A white Australian lady, right? And she was like, he was in the military, and she was like, I told him, because she knew she made more money than him, and she was like, I told him, like, hey, I believe in you. Why don't you just come and do this, and I'll take care of everything until you get yourself right. And he wouldn't do it because he wanted to be that breadwinner and stuff like that. I bring that up to say that a lot of times there are some, not all, some Black women in America whose help is for a limited time. You know what I'm saying? Like because let's say if a guy does lose his job or whatever, when some women have power, they start power tripping. You know what I mean? And so then they start looking down on the man, treating the man less than, you know what I mean? And so I can say that I've noticed that some of the women in other countries, they do be kind of like ride or die. Like they'll fuck with you. They'll work in the business. They'll help create a business. And it's interesting because like I got one of my homies, his wife is Thai and Laotian, and she's from America though. And of course they got their bumps in the road, but she was fucking with him when he was broke. Like and now they could go, they was in, I went to go hang out with them in Thailand. You know what I'm saying? Like now their life is totally different. He got Mercedes truck, Benz, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that's the thing. It's like if you are a supportive Black woman, sometimes other women try to tear you down for being supportive.
Mm-hmm. I get that too. I mean, I'm smirking because the same things that you're describing, I've seen Black women hold men down. Some men that are actually trying, and some men that ain't. Some men that just,
absolutely.
the baby boy type, drop you off in your car and drive around and then not do nothing.
Yep.
But then also I've seen women, building the man up and being the breadwinner until they get on their feet, or they're always the breadwinner. I have somebody in my life who she's always made more money than her husband, but she didn't emasculate him. They came to their agreement, so it's I just feel like everything that we talk about can be found in every culture. I get that. Yeah. And I think you made a great point as far as social media. I think with social media, it makes it seem like everybody is dealing with Black women who are not going to hold their man down, Black women that are aggressive, Black women that aren't feminine. Meanwhile, there's a man right now getting his feet rubbed or his head rubbed and his bath water ran, his plate served to him. He is being treated like a king by the same Black women that people are thinking are just nothing but ghetto and hood and not traditional. So it can be found everywhere.
I think so. And I think too, I think the last thing is that I think that that the biggest thing is like when you do have women that that advocate for Black men, there are some women that come at those women that advocate.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest thing too, is like nah, like at the end of the day, like I said, we need each other.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, like I said, like I've experienced all type of different situations. I think for me, you know what I mean, like I'm at a point in time where I'm empire building, right? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about my future. I'm thinking about my son. I'm thinking about stuff like that, right? So anybody that I would align myself with, like, would have to have some sort of skills, or they would just have to be an asset. Like I want somebody that comes into my life that I'm like, damn, I can't afford to lose you. Mm. You know what I mean? And I think that for modern women in this day and age, there should be a man that you feel like that about.
Right.
You know, but dating apps fuck that up because what happens is you automatically think that you could go to the next one and find it. And then on top of that too, another thing is if you're an attractive woman, you don't have to work on yourself.
Who says who? Says society?
Says the simps.
No. I don't know about that. I think I want us to reclassify what simps are, because there's so many different descriptions of simps. Some people label any man that is romantic, that loves women and does nice things for women as a simp. And then I think what you're describing,
that's being a man.
Okay. And then what you're describing seems more like pandering.
You know, I'm talking about like the dudes that are just happy to have a girl that looks good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
they like a lame, like they're new to this.
Like it's like a lot of guys have not had attractive women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when they get one, they let them do whatever. You know,
not let them.
Yeah, they don't check them in. They don't, and I think that's the thing too, is like it's so many guys with such low standards that if you are an attractive woman, all you got, especially in America. Now this is the thing. Oh, look.
That rubs hand like Birdman.
Look. So now this is the thing. The dating that women do, I think that all Black women in America need to go to Southeast Asia and other countries like Thailand and see what dating is like out there. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I talked about that pecking order, right?
Lady boys,
slim, bright white girls, Thai women. Then you got the brown Thai women. Then under that, Black women probably come about, I would say they're like 5th or 6th
in Thailand.
And that's not a place that Black women are used to being, especially amongst Black men.
So what's the experience like?
It's a whole totally different experience. So I had to game up one of my this young lady that I met, because I told her, I was like, you're dating like you in the States. And it don't work like that. Like there's so many options out here. There's so many choices. It's crazy. And then this is the thing. If you like thick girls, the women out in Thailand ain't short of no body parts. You know what I'm saying? Like, they look good. And so I think for you to go from like number 1 option to number 5, it does something to your ego. And that's why a lot of Black women that are abroad, not all of them, but a lot of them are single. Just because the pecking order in the society.
But also, are they open to dating Thai men or all types of men, or they just want to be Black men still?
Thai men ain't really checking for them like that.
Okay. So yeah, of course their dating experience will be different. The Black men out there are not necessarily looking to date Black women. So I think if you're going to move abroad and you're looking for love, either you're going to have to be open to a lot of different types of men, or you're going to have to bring your own man.
You know what? That's that's honestly the best thing. You have to bring your man with you. Right. But even that's dangerous.
Why?
Because it's just like, you got to be a strong man. There's too much availability.
I understand that.
Like it's way too much availability.
I would have had to spend a little bit more time in Brazil. I spent 8 days out there, but I wasn't really attracted. I mean, there were some attractive men, but I wasn't really attracted to the ones that I was coming across. Like, of course, there's a language barrier. They speak Portuguese. Yeah. So there was one guy that approached me when I went to the club by myself one night, and he was tall. He wasn't necessarily my type physically, but he was decent.
Yeah.
And they have different types of culture, like hygienic practices and different things that I was just cringing. Like, I was sick. He was sick. He kept like doing this to his nose and like rubbing it on the walls and stuff. And I'm like, ugh. And I handed him some hand sanitizer. And it's just like little things like that that give me the ick, little cultural differences.
Yeah.
I think that
hey, they be in their nose like a motherfucker.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And then but I do love about the men and just the dating experience in Brazil is that there's a lot of like, they're very sensual and they're very like just loving and romantic. Like, there's PDA, you gonna see somebody making out in the club, outside, holding hands. So I do like that.
It's a love culture.
Yeah, I like that about them. But other than that, I think that will be interesting, because I'm open to traveling and going to different countries and experiencing them as well. But I'm like, I do not want to limit because I'm not really that open to dating outside of my race.
Well, but this is the thing though. You have to go by what's checking for you. And when you over there in those countries, like a lot of times there's not like, okay, put it like this. This is what I noticed about Thailand. The majority of the Black women that were over in Thailand were freelancers. For those that don't know what a freelancer is a prostitute.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So it's like it was on the dudes that was there, they was either looking for that type of time, but it wasn't like, no, I'm gonna take you out on some dates. You know what I mean? And I think that's just I feel like that right there in itself, I think it will make Black women appreciate the Black men that they have already.
If women traveled abroad a little bit more and
Yes.
dating other countries.
Yes.
But then I have a friend, we've never met in person, but we've been social media friends for years, and she travels abroad, mostly in Europe. And she shares her dating experiences, but again, she's open to dating outside of her race. So
yeah,
you know, been to Italy, Spain, Portugal, different places. And you know, she really enjoys her dating experiences. So I guess it just depends on where you go and what you're open to as well.
Yep.
Okay, Nakajini says and possesses tradition. Okay. It is most likely to find these types of women outside the United States. Nakajini, tell me more about you, because I thought we was friends. No, I'm just playing. You can have your opinions. Social media definitely have a huge influence when it comes to dating here in America. Absolutely.
You know what? A lot of women are dating the algorithm. Yep. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Like I was actually privy to see a young lady that I was talking to. I seen her algorithm. And what happens is whatever you think and whatever your most dominant thoughts or whatever you watching,
right,
they're gonna send you more of that to your inbox. So if you think men are not safe, you're gonna get a lot of that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna come to you. And so I think that's the biggest enemy. The biggest enemy is the algorithm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of women are dating the algorithm, and then the amount of attention that a woman can get at one time that creates that dopamine rush. That's why you got girls doing thirst trapping, OnlyFans, exclusive content. You know what I mean? Like because it becomes a drug.
You know, they doing it for that money. But also, I want to say too, speaking of that, a lot of men that I've talked to feel like women have more options. I think it's quality versus quantity, because I was talking to one of my homegirls the other day, like literally we can go get us a man tonight. Like if we really want to have a man, you know, pick up the phone, hey, come be my man, whatever. Go outside, hey, you want to be my man? Easy. But the type of man that we want is, you know, few and far in between as far as meeting the certain standards that we have. And like when I'm on dating sites, dating apps, I could be scrolling for 10 minutes and not match with one person, not see anybody that I'm attracted to. And I've seen my homeboys scroll and literally run out of scrolls. I'm like, I didn't swipes, whatever you call it, swiping on dating apps. I didn't even know it was possible to run out of swipes. It's because they're like, oh, so many women that they're attracted to. I don't even know if they're going as far as reading the bios, but women are being more selective and like reading bios, finding somebody you're attracted to, and you might get one or two matches. So even though, yeah, we might have men in our inbox or might have a lot, you know, a lot of guys trying to like us on the dating apps, what do we like them in return? Are these people, you know, we have interest in? But I feel like men, I feel like y'all have a lot of quality options. Y'all have a lot more options to,
it's a plethora. It's kind of like that Kanye line where he said, "It's 1,000 yous. It's only one of me."
Facts.
That's a real statement.
Yeah.
And then too, another thing too. There's a difference between options and choices. Because women have hella options, but you have to be chosen. Like men hold the key to relationships, because a man has to choose you to be in a relationship, right?
And we have to accept.
You do, but you have to be chosen.
Women really supposed to be the ones choosing, honestly.
Well, you're right. You actually
according to my father.
No, you actually are right. No, women are supposed to make themselves available to the right man.
Yeah.
And so for me, the way I look at it is like, I'm 42, right? At this age, I got zero patience for trying to chase a woman. Like if you don't make it clear that you fucking with me, that you like, yeah, hey, I'm fucking with you. I'm not finna hunt you down to spend my money on you for you to, after 3 days, to be like, I don't see the spark.
I mean, and I agree with that. And I feel like a lot of men aren't reading the room when it comes to, I don't feel like a woman should, I don't feel like it should be, anytime there's any type of confusion or uncertainty, it's just not it. Like, you know, I've talked to men who are like, you know, it seemed like she liked me and I'm spending all this money, I'm doing all this. I'm like, she don't like you, bro. Like,
you know, I ain't spending and in actuality, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, this is just from my experience. A woman that like you, she's gonna want to do shit for you.
Yeah.
Like if she really fuck with you, you ain't gonna have to chase her. You ain't gonna have to ask her why she ain't doing this and why she ain't doing that.
No.
She's gonna make herself available for you to get in contact with her.
Yes.
She's trying to figure out what you're doing.
You're gonna know.
Yeah. And so I think that's the problem too, is like, there are a lot of men with low self-esteem. There's a lot of men that don't know that and that don't value themselves enough to walk away. Right. Like man, ooh, my walk away muscle is strong.
Ooh,
like look,
me and you both.
look, somebody try to friend zone me. What? And it's rare. Like, I don't get friend zone, but there are people that try me. You know what I'm saying?
I feel a way about that though.
What?
Because I just wrote that. I wrote about that in my journal earlier today. There was a guy that was trying to pursue me last year, and although he wasn't necessarily my type, there were things about him that I did like. So I was like, you know, instead of me closing off and cutting, you know, my cutoff game is super strong. I know exactly what I want, and usually I'm like, if you not it, I'm not even gonna waste my time or yours. Get out of here. But I'm trying to be better with that and be more open and not limit my dating experiences and getting to know people or whatever. So, you know, I was open to it, but it was just like, I don't know. I felt like there wasn't enough action behind the words, as far as like, let's go on a date. Let's get to know each other. Like, we talked, we know we have some things in common. So I basically was like, well, let's just take the pressure off of dating and let's just start as friends or whatever. And then it seemed like as soon as I said that, like, boom, I didn't hear from him anymore. And I get men, I get y'all be protecting y'allselves in some sense. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't want what I'm trying to offer you, then whatever. What do I need you for? I don't need no more friends.
This is the thing. I would not be I would not be friends with a woman that I'm attracted to.
And I'm seeing that, because every man that I have given that option, they be like, girl, bye. But yeah. I feel like, I don't know. Sometimes it be hurt my feelings, because I'm like,
it's like
just last week, you was like acting like you would do anything for me and you cared so much, and now you like, look, F me.
Well, Osha, it's a demotion.
But it never was.
That's just like a motherfucker giving you like you go for this job, right? and then the job got a good salary and shit, and then they like, you know what? Shit, I don't want to lose you, but we got this mailroom job, right? You know what I'm saying? You could come through.
Damn.
Similar benefits. You know, you could be around the team.
But the mailroom position might put you there so that, you know, you do your due diligence.
It is very rare that you get brought up from the mailroom to the boardroom.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Like,
I understand. I get it. I get it.
Like, when I was younger, I would play the friend. I would do the friend zone. You know what I'm saying? Like if I like the girl, I do the friend zone. But I don't want to hear about niggas that you talking to. I don't want to hear about. I don't want to be your male orbiter.
Right. And I think I get there would be boundaries. I don't think it would be so like, yeah, I'm dating this dude. Like, no. But, you know, if we were just having great conversations and we had things in common and whatever 5 minutes ago, and then as soon as I say this, it's like, peace. I don't get, like, it's just. It's something that I have to accept. I get it.
Them is men that got, you know what, and you know why you should accept it, because those men got respect for themselves.
I feel it. I get
it because for them to go against it, it would be a disservice to you and them, because then those be the dudes that, you know, they secretly want to smash eventually.
Right.
They're just waiting for the right time for it to happen.
And then if it ever did, and the power, quote unquote power, got back in their hands, then they probably do you dirty as a revenge. Like, okay, now I'm gonna make you want me, and then I'm gonna hurt your feelings.
Friends on you.
Mm-hmm. So let me get to a couple more of these comments. The word 9% said, man, everyone got their own definition of simp, like narcissist. We talked about the definition of narcissist on Monday.
Or narcissist.
Yeah, we did a whole show on that on Monday. Helping a man get on his feet should definitely be for a limited time, says Nagajini. Facts. I mean, hey, what's up?
I don't know. You know what?
It's gotta
look. I'm gonna tell you what. Look. You could say that, right? But what about the dude that started Google? How long was he broke?
I don't know, but was he with you know the movie Acrimony? You should watch it. It's a Tyler Perry movie, and it's basically he had this invention, the man.
Yeah.
That he had been working on for all this time. Him and the girl met when they were in college, and they had a relationship. She ended up coming up on some money because her mom passed, and she inherited some money. And he drained her of all that money because she was pouring into making sure he finished college, making sure he had what he needed for this invention. She was working 2 jobs, stressed out, drained.
Yeah.
All of these things, and she was holding him down. Basically, she damn near lost everything. And it was a mess. So anyway, he ended up coming up, and by that time they were already divorced. But it's got to be a limit. It's got to be not necessarily like, you know.
I don't
I'm
think
not here to support you.
I don't think it got a, because this is the reason why I don't think it has to have a limit, right? Because I think that's the downfall that we have in the Black community, is that limit. Like for example, amongst Jewish people, a Jewish person has the ability to come up with as many ideas until an idea hits, right?
Okay. I'm gonna listen.
Don't hear me out.
I'm listening.
Now I know that there's differences because of infrastructure, right? But at some point in time, we have to institute that infrastructure with each other. Like, for example, if you was my girl, right? My wife, girl, whatever level it will be at. My goal is to help you live out your dream. You're not gonna strike it rich the first time,
right?
You gonna have some shit. You might want to have your own clothing line. You might want to start an e-commerce store. You might want to do your personal coaching business. If I fuck with you, my goal is to make sure that whatever endeavor you go down, I'm like, all right, Asha, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that doesn't have a timeline. I don't have a timeline where I'm like, well, you know, I got you for 90 days, and if this shit don't pop, we done.
Okay, let me interject. First of all, we cannot compare ourselves to Jewish people. Jewish people have gotten reparations. They have community structure in a certain way that they have literally not just within their community as a family or whatever. Like, they are supported throughout they have networks. So we not even on their level when it comes.
Let me add one thing in there. We did have that, Asha, through when we had our when we had Allentown.
You said emphasis on had.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So then I'm not saying like, okay, you got 30 days and then we're going to wrap this shit up. I'm just saying, like, with that support, because I believe in that too. Like, we're going to put our energy into whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish as a team. But also we have to have a plan to make sure that we're stable and that we're not,
absolutely,
that we're not draining each other of resources and energy to the point where we're in a bad position while we're chasing these dreams. Like in the example that I said, he's got his woman working 2 jobs. She's stressed out, tired, not getting no sleep. They're barely making it, but he's just focusing all his energy in the project, the invention. He's not trying to look out for her. They're not on one accord. Like, okay, this is the plan. This is the game plan. We gonna do this. You gonna do this. We gonna take this money here and invest it here and grow it. Like, there's no plan to make sure the stability is there. So I agree with not being like a limit like that, but it's got to be a plan. It's got to make sense. And I mean, like, some people say chase your dreams for however long, but then on the other hand, if something is not working and it's so long that if y'all both putting y'all energy into it and effort and it's not working after so long, it might be a pivot that is needed. It might not necessarily be like put the dreams on the back burner or stop, but we might need to pivot in a way to make it work.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me read a couple more comments. Hold on one second.
Yep.
Naga Genie say what did I do? Letting your woman do as she please ain't got nothing to do with being a simp. A simp is when a man is doing everything for a woman that's not his and actually get nothing in return. Now I can agree with that. Vernon Kelly says it's very simple. Most men don't like fake hair, nails, makeup, etc. We also prefer women that are more feminine, cooperative, and physically pleasing. Not saying that there are no American women like that. Because you're looking at one right here. Real hair, no, this one. Naga Genie says, I think it's definitely okay to be friends with someone who is trying to pursue. It's just that most men have a hard time accepting that they may be qualified for the position they are applying for, or may not be qualified.
Yeah.
Instead of them working on meeting the qualifications and requirements, they rather leave and be bitter about it because that's the easy thing to do. I mean, I get it, because sometimes if there's the quote unquote demotion, like in my case, I was open to more with this person, even though he wasn't necessarily my type. So when I did say, let's just focus on being friends, at that point, it was just like, I think that's where we're best suited, in the friend area. But I'm not saying that I was closed off to, if we continue to cultivate that friendship, that it may not have led to more things in the future. But if he, wasn't willing to stick around to figure that out, I get it.
Well, but then too, I think also it depends on how you positioned it. Because if you were like, hey, you know what, I like some of these qualities that you have. I think that if we get to know each other better, there's a possibility for us to, that something could form. Mm-hmm. A man would probably accept that versus just saying, well, let's just, I don't know what you said, but I'm just saying, like, a man would probably accept that more than being like, oh, yeah, I'm just in the friend zone.
Yeah, I think I just worded it as, let's take the pressure off of us dating and let's just start off as friends, because it was kind of like, I felt rushed in the process. Like, I didn't feel like I was given enough time to get to know him and get to the point of liking him equally. Like, I feel like he liked me a lot more than I liked him, and
a mistake
in that way. And then it was just a lot of pressure, like future planning.
Yeah,
like, he ain't even been on a date and you talking about let's go traveling and let's build this, and it was just too much.
But this is the thing, sometimes men are sure about that. Like, they're sure that you're the one that they want to do that with.
I get that too, but I just felt too much pressure. It was too much too soon, and I'm just like, hey,
I should think you got to be comfortable. You got to be comfortable with that as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, how like back in the day, like, you got those long lasting marriages where that person was like, hey, you my person, right? And it was that person for the rest of their life.
But I think the missing ingredient is the mutual attraction. Usually that's there too. So because I wasn't attracted, that was a missing ingredient as well.
Attraction can be built though.
It can, definitely. I've dated some guys that I didn't think were that attractive, but after a while, once I got feelings for them, I'm like, he look kind of good.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that way too, but I'm just thinking, I just feel like there were certain ingredients and elements that weren't there that didn't make me as open to just jumping from 0 to 100. Like I felt like I was being taken too fast. Like, hey, let's slow our roll. Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Oh, the train.
Have we met in person?
Huh?
Have we met in person?
I don't think so.
How did we connect? I know we're friends on Instagram, but how?
I don't know.
You have you been to Vegan and Friends or Vegan Social?
Where is that at?
In Atlanta. Do you live in Atlanta?
No, I live in California.
I don't know how we connected. I don't know. I was looking at our mutual friends, and one of them was one of them was the host of or the creator of Vegan and Friends, and I used to do speed dating events there, so that's why I was thinking maybe that was the connection.
Who was the person? Our mutual connection.
Gray, the rapper, the vegan.
Oh,
rapper.
you know what? I wonder if I think I might have followed you a long time ago.
Are you vegan?
Yeah, I've been vegan for 15 years.
Okay, so we have that connection. So I was thinking you was in the Atlanta area too, because I'm creating a. You can still join it, but I have an intentional love collective. It's a database and a community for hopeful romantics and intentional daters. I do have some people there that are in different cities and different countries if people are open to dating abroad or traveling long distance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to grow the list. So if you're still single, you might as well just go and get on the list. You know what I'm saying?
I'll pop on the list.
Yep. But yeah, I think this is a good conversation. I wanna go deeper into the conversation. I have another series called Connections and Conversations where I bring in multiple guests to have these type of this type of dialogue to kind of see about how to bridge the gap between men and women. Everything else is about men versus women. We this, we that, complaining. Like, how can we come together and, bring the love back between us?
Yeah, I think that if I could say the thing I think that would be what it would be, I think is just you have to find somebody that's about what you about, and I think that once you find that, it's easier to have different conversations. Because I think that once you find somebody that's about what you about, you'll be willing to have a different type of conversation. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it really figures out like on your worldview. Like for me, the type of woman that I know that would be a good fit for me is a woman that's into like health and wellness and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. Because the one thing I always say is like when I come into a situation, I upgrade people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Like and I've done that before with people that I've talked to, dated, known, friends, whatever. That's just the energy that I bring. Right. And I think there's certain principles that if you find people that align with these principles, that'll make anything that you do a good fit. So like my top 5 is like respect, loyalty, reciprocity, a growth mindset, and just a person that's really into longevity. So
and you said you're 42?
Huh?
You said you're 42?
Yeah.
And you have, how old is your son?
13.
Okay. You want more kids?
Possibly.
Why you don't know yet?
Because like the thing is I gotta make sure that whoever I'm procreating with is really on the same page. Cause I like it was certain things that I had to experience with my first son that made me really think about like, cause like my son wasn't planned. You know what I mean? Like it was like I just hopped in the father mode. And if you know, if I go back and redo it again, there's certain things that I would want to do. Like I would definitely want to do like a home birth. I would definitely want a woman that's open to breastfeeding. I would definitely want a woman that's committed on a plant-based diet. I would definitely want a woman that's committed on how we gonna raise the baby, what we gonna teach it, what type of religious system they're down with. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and also think about a contingency plan. What happens if 5 years down the road you change your mind about what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? How we gonna navigate that? You know what I mean? So I think for me, you know, like, and you know, like also vaccination.
That's a big one.
That's a whole nother thing too. You know what I'm saying? Because like, you know, like I think that's really important. You know,
So,
oh, go ahead.
No, I think it sounds like you do want more children. You just want them with the person that aligns with your values and parenting style.
Absolutely.
So I would like you to reframe that going forward. Because I just talked about this I'm reviewing Ready to Love.
Yeah.
And one of the cast members, he said something similar, like he was asked if he wanted children. And he was like, well, that's up to the woman I get with. And she was like, what do you want? And so when it comes to that, like being firm and standing firm on what you want and knowing that you desire it, whether or not, you know, whatever happens in your future, I get you end up maybe not having more children because you don't meet this person, but do you have the desire now, basically?
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Like, so that's the reason why I answered it that way, because I'm good with a one and done. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but you good, but do you want more?
I do have capacity to nurture more children.
But it's not like you're like, man, I want to meet my person and have more children. You don't be like that.
This is the thing. Like, I'm healthy, and I got that new Bitcoin, unvaccinated sperm.
Because that's definitely one of my vetting questions. I actually, you know, I want to meet my person, get married, and have children. I don't have children yet. Yeah. So at one point, years back, there was this guy that I called him, me and my cousin, you know, we got nicknames for every guy. He was Inbox Bay, because me and him like had a whole relationship on Facebook inbox, like Messenger. We just talk and chat. Every now and then we video chat. Yeah. And so one day I low-key jokingly said something to him about like going half on a baby. Yeah. And he was like, you joking, but I actually wouldn't mind doing that. Like, based on what I know about you, like I wouldn't be opposed to that. Yeah. So I sent him a questionnaire. Huh. I asked certain questions about parenting styles and about certain beliefs. Would you mind raising the baby vegan? Can we homeschool? All these type of things. Yep. He was like, I ain't depriving my baby of no meat. Okay, well, next. That's what I'm saying. Like I would have a questionnaire too, because it's things I want to know. Like the homeschooling is important. Like how do you handle discipline? That's a big one. You know what I'm saying? Like are you gonna go against when I'm disciplining our kid? Are you gonna play devil's advocate and go against it? Are we gonna be one united front, or are we gonna disagree about discipline? Yeah. And then do you believe in corporal punishment or physically disciplining, or are we gonna do the gentle parent route? What we doing? So all of that is important. And what you brought up about, like, he had reached out to me years after that go half on a baby thing, because he still didn't have kids yet. And he was just like, you know, is that offer still stand? And I'm like, you got vaccinated. So even if I was thinking about it, sorry. Look, that's what I'm saying. Like, even that right there, that limit a whole bunch of choices. And so that's another thing too. Like there was a lot of women that got vaccinated. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's rare to find an unvaccinated woman. And people be putting it in their dating profiles like that's a badge. Ooh, vaccinate. I'm like, double vaccine boost.
max 10 times. I'm like, that is not something to brag about.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Anyway, you in California, so it's probably still damn near daylight out there. It's 1:00 in the morning here.
10:06.
What kind of doctor are you? Is that
I'm doctor of holistic sports nutrition.
okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you the link so you get on my database too.
Well, I'll let you know that I might be looking for more than one wife.
There's an option there for that. I think I got on there. Do I have in there if you're police? Let me look. What was I gonna say? What part of California are you in?
I'm in the Bay Area. I'm in Oakland.
Okay. In the Yay area?
Yep, in the Yay area. Yep.
How long you been back from overseas?
Shoot, since last Wednesday.
Isn't it like a culture? It's like kind of disappointing when you come back.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh.
It make you understand that you've been shammed.
Yep.
About the United States.
Yep.
Like I paid. Guess how much I paid for my hotel in Bali for a whole month?
I don't even want to guess how much.
Take a guess. One guess.
For a whole month?
A whole month.
I don't know. I want to say 800. Is that low or high?
Lower.
600.
Lower.
400.
Lower.
What? 350.
346.
For a whole month.
For a whole month.
And it was a nice hotel too, huh?
It was like a 3.5-star hotel.
That's decent. That's good.
Yeah. It wasn't like hella upscale, but it wasn't low end.
Right. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Thailand and Bali is definitely on my list.
Yeah, those are two nice places to live. The only knock about Asia is the pollution. They pollution be kind of ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of, even though we got pollution over here, it's still some regulation. Like you'll get a ticket if your car pushing out black smoke and shit. You know what I'm saying? Over there, if your shit pushing out black smoke, you just pushing out black smoke.
Damn. I don't know. I really did love Salvador Bahia. I loved like where we were. It was kind of like by the beach, but it was like a walkable community.
Yeah.
I love that because we need to walk more. The weather is decent. Like the only thing, it was getting a little windy, but they don't get like hurricanes or anything like that out there. Another thing that was difficult to adjust to is the sun comes up at 5 a.m. and it goes down at 5 p.m. So there's no daylight savings time, I guess, anywhere else other than the United States. But so I wasn't really quite used to the sun going down so early, or coming up so early. But other than that, it was like get in an Uber, drive 20 minutes. It's like $2.
Yep.
And then another thing that was kind of challenging. It was kind of challenging to find vegan food. I started finding vegan restaurants.
They meat heavy out there.
Yep. So that was another challenge, but
yeah, in Thailand, no challenge to find vegan food. It was so.
What'd you say?
Oh, go ahead.
It was breaking up. You said it was or it wasn't?
It wasn't. It was a plethora of it. It was so much vegan food. It was crazy. And then another thing too, like I'm lightweight. If I live somewhere where it's tropical, I would lightweight be fruitarian.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And out there, superior.
I love being able to get fresh coconuts on the corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like them sweet hydrating ass coconuts.
Yep.
Them motherfuckers was great.
Yeah.
Them little small ass pineapples that taste like little pieces of candy.
Yeah. When you get back. Oh, another thing I didn't like about Brazil though, and I think it's similar to out there too in Asia, it's the driving is so different. They drive so wild. I get anxious with reckless driving. And so they speed, they tailgate, they switching lanes all crazy. The bikes is zooming through.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I had a scooter in Bali, so I was all through it.
You was in the lanes. Okay.
Yeah, I was in the streets, in Bali.
Mm-mm. There's that dude. What's his name? Darius Cooks. You know him? He's a chef. He kind of be in controversies and stuff a lot out here, but he just moved to. I think he just moved to Bali, and he's opening up a soul food restaurant out there. Let me see if it's Bali or not. That's another thing I feel like is a great market in these different places to kind of like open up restaurants. They like themes, so if they get some type of American theme, hip hop theme.
So I did bump into a young lady in Bali that she got some motion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She got like three laundromats, like 2 restaurants, and I kind of like told her about the idea. I showed her all the stuff because I had a vegan meal prep business. So the thing about it is like, in order for you to go into business with somebody, and usually in those Southeast Asian countries, they have to be majority owner. So I think it's like in Thailand, I know it's 51-49. That's because you can't technically own property or have a business that doesn't employ Thai people.
Hey.
So, but it's still opportunity for you if you got a really good idea and you know how to market it and you know how to set up systems. It's a really good opportunity for you to make some bread. So I brought that up because she kind of was like, yeah, we should try to open up a vegan place out here. And I was like, just thinking about being a global citizen. I'm like, why wouldn't we want to get money in other countries?
Facts.
And
real estate too, like getting places and creating Airbnbs overseas and stuff.
Yep.
It's a good market too.
Yep.
Okay, so I think Nagajini, you might have been talking about thinking that Connections and Conversations is on a different platform. It's on this channel. It's just I have 6 episodes that's already out. I haven't brought it back because my plan was to have it in person because I love the in-person. Most of the episodes are in person. Probably one of them is virtual. But I'm going to bring it. I'm going to have it virtual, some virtual episodes too. I'm going to start preparing, getting my guest list together and my topics together, and probably start bringing those back in April. Because we're gonna do that. We got to get these conversations going. And for the people, go ahead.
And the narcissist episode, did you
what?
Look, did you talk about how people are using the word wrong?
That was actually the title. It was like, is narcissism just a buzzword?
Yes.
We talked about the fact that people are. Shout out to Vigilante. He was the one that suggested the topic. He basically said, why is it that it seems like every woman is just getting out of a relationship with a narcissist?
Yep.
So we talked about narcissism, what that looks like, how it's diagnosed, and how it's rare, narcissistic personality disorder. And then I read from a book called Why Does He Do That? And it kind of goes over like certain types of abusive archetypes. So I wanted to bring awareness to like there's all type of different experiences or of abuse that people have, but it's not necessarily all narcissism. So we definitely talked about that on episode 34.
Yeah.
Episode 34. So yeah, it's interesting. And then I read about in that same book what antisocial disorder looks like, antisocial personality disorder look like. And I'm like, we need to stop saying, oh, I'm antisocial, because what it described, I don't think you want to label yourself as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely did.
But I think too, to circle back about the topic of this one, I would say going over to other places and being in other countries, it do make you consider, like, actually spreading your branches out.
What does that mean?
Like it makes you consider possibly leaving your options open to having a wife of a different culture besides your own.
I mean, I can see that. If anybody goes somewhere and they get in an experience that they don't normally have where they're from, I'm sure anybody would be like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that as a Black man, you realize how you are appreciated in other cultures. I could say that. I could say that.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, on that note,
Mm-hmm.
I receive it. I hear it. I hear y'all. I hear y'all saying that, and I've talked about that too before. That men definitely value feeling appreciated, and most of the complaints that I hear from men that are in relationships are that they don't feel appreciated, or they don't feel needed, or they don't feel like they matter. So
appreciation and gratitude will go such a long way.
Yeah.
Like if a man feels like you grateful, he'll go hard. He'll go so fucking hard for you, just by being grateful.
I agree.
And when you have that level of appreciation, like when you feel like you're lucky to have that man, woo, that's another level to the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. Well, I appreciate you for coming on and giving us your insight and your expertise. I'm gonna reach out to you so we can do it again.
Okay, yeah, let me know. I'm come on and chop it up with you. I always like talking about relationships because actually the thing about it is relationships is a part of natural health. So one of the tenets of natural health is positive relationships. And I think for me, I'm always looking to get better at relationships.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a constant process. And throughout our life, we're gonna have many relationships. And the key thing is like being able to get good at those relationships to the point where you become an asset to the people that you serve.
I like that.
Yeah.
So when I reach out, I'm going to suggest some topics that we will discuss when I bring you back onto Connections and Conversations. That'll be one of them. I like what you just talked about. Tenets. What was it? The tenets of relationship?
Natural health, positive relationship.
Okay.
Let me put that
in my notes.
Side to that is if you have the wrong relationship can cause you to get illnesses, and it could actually kill you. So we have to be mindful of the people that we align ourselves with because of that.
Absolutely. Okay, and what was the other thing? Timeline. Okay. Okay. All right. I just DM'd you some of the topics that I want us to talk about when we come back on.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna holler at you in a minute. I'm about to wrap it up, and I'm gonna be in your inbox when I get off.
All right. Slide my DM.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Peace. All right, y'all. So we done went 2 hours and 34 minutes on this episode, but I think we had a great conversation. I appreciate everybody's opinions about it. I just want to bring more awareness and more love to us as a culture. I don't want to be against Black men, and I don't want Black men to be against me or other Black women. So it's important to have these conversations to see what's going on. I hope nobody took offense to what I said. I have my opinions. Y'all have y'all opinions. I try not to take what you say personal because it is what it is. Sometimes it's hard to not take things personal because, of course, I am a Black woman, a Black American woman. So I don't want to say I take things personal, but I am sensitive to what I hear and how we are being referred to, or if we are being respected, or the lack thereof of respect. So again, I appreciate it. We honored Toni Morrison on this episode for Women's History. We talked about dating abroad, why Black men are choosing, some of them are choosing to date and go to other countries. And we also talked about starting a family later in age, after late 30s, because of David Banner getting a little bit of backlash about starting a family after age 50. So if you all enjoyed this show and you want more content like this, you want to check out some more of my content, make sure you are subscribed. See, thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel and turn your notifications on. Share my page with other people too, because I've been working hard on growing this channel, and it's slow and steady. We almost at our next milestone is 200 subscribers. You know, the goal is to have at least 1,000 subscribers. So the next milestone is 200. Help me get to 200 by next week. We almost there. YouTube.com/@Osha Cerese. And then, of course, if you are on your journey of healing, self-love, self-discovery, or intentional dating, please visit OshaCerese.com. It's right there at the bottom. I have One Single Step at a Time, which is my 6-week healing workshop. You're doing all of the unpacking of childhood trauma, relationship timeline. You're going over doing shadow work. We're doing self-discovery, figuring out, who are you? What do you like? What do you want? What do you desire? So you can stand firm in your beliefs and your core values, so you can know what it is that you are trying to work towards. Get a plan of action going, and I will support you and hold you accountable to meeting those goals. That is a 6-week workshop, guided. It also comes with 6 weeks of coaching, so 1 coaching session a week throughout the process, and then it comes with the How to Beat Single guided journal. If you feel like you don't need no guidance, you don't need no coaching, you just want to start your work on your own, you can always grab How to Beat Single on the website. And then I also have a program called 5 Ways in 5 Days. It is all about incorporating your love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care, and identifying and uncovering those blockages you may have with giving or receiving love. So that is 5 Ways in 5 Days. That could be done in as little as 5 days or as many as 60. And that is a beautiful program to help you uncover those blockages. You can always just book a discovery call if you don't know where to start, or if you just want coaching, one-on-one coaching. You can do 1 session. You can start getting them every week, every other week. We'll come up with it once you get that discovery call going. And of course, also, if you're an influencer, business owner, creator, you would like to monetize or utilize some gifts that you have and you just don't know where to start, book a strategy session. On my website, there's a tab, Content Strategy. During that session, we'll figure out, what are your gifts, what is it that you're trying to offer to the world, and how you can monetize it, how you can show up. We may create a content plan. We may get you together with some digital products, ebooks, digital courses, whatever it is that we come up with. 1 strategy call, and I promise you I'm gonna get you right. So those are your options as far as my services. And then, of course, if you are a hopeful, romantic, intentional dater looking for love in 2025, make sure you are on the database of the Intentional Love Collective. It's not on my website yet, but it's linked in my bio. The Intentional Love Collective is a growing community and database of hopeful romantics looking for love, and it allows me to curate experiences for you with your desires, preferences, and values in mind. So go ahead and add yourself on that. We're gonna wrap it up now. Let me give you some journaling prompts to send you on your way, and then I'm gonna tell y'all good night. So your first journaling prompt is, how do cultural backgrounds influence your dating preferences and expectations? Again, how do cultural backgrounds influence your dating preferences and expectations? second journaling prompt is, what are your thoughts on the timing of major life decisions such as marriage or starting a family? What are your thoughts on the timing of major life decisions such as marriage and starting a family? And the last one is, how do societal norms shape your views on relationships and personal milestones? How do societal norms shape your views on relationships and personal milestones? Why I can't say that? Milestones. All right. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you for all the new people that pulled up on me today as well, and all the OGs that have been pulling up on me. Thank you for tuning in and holding space with me. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all. I love y'all. And have a good night. See you tomorrow.